And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by the teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Well, welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson, 2 former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. Today, we're going to pivot from talking free agency news because there haven't been any big moves. So we decided we're going to talk some draft. We're going to pitch best fits for 4 of the top prospects in the 2025 class. We're also, I'm going to gripe about the Giants update. I mean, this is just an ongoing saga. There's a new idiot that they're bringing into for an interview or for a visit, and now it's Jameis Winston, so we'll get to that later. Before we get there, Sean, can you share with our listeners a quick word from BetOnline?
BetOnline, most trusted site for all your online wagering. March Madness starting this week, so I'm going to give my pick of the week, and that is St. Francis.
You're a piece of shit.
What?
You're a piece of shit.
For what?
What is that noise?
I can't give it.
Is that your toilet, brother?
Is that your sink?
No, that was your toilet.
My toilet should not be making that noise.
Did you hear that? I swear that was coming from your toilet.
I got it from your sink over there.
No, it's coming. Well, that's the kitchen sink. I think that was coming from your toilet.
You go look at my toilet and see if there's any movement.
After that noise that just came out of that bathroom, I don't want to know what that was.
See if there's water moving. If there's water moving in the toilet, then that's all.
So for anyone who's extremely confused, there was a loud gurgling noise that just came out of Sean's bathroom.
That's some still water. That is still
That was weird. Is something coming from the sink?
What do you have going on here?
What do you mean?
I don't know.
I'm not tripping though, right? That was oddly loud. It sounded like someone was almost banging on the door, but then it sounded like water the minute I took off my headphones.
Okay.
We're not the 2 brightest.
That was an odd. That was a very non-apartment noise to have in the apartment.
No.
What, are they filling the pool up?
Maybe that's what it was. You're still a piece of garbage for the Rutro thing.
Sean,
sorry, I'm 0-6 since you did this. 0-6. I was hitting 67%. Play that one more time.
What?
I was hitting 67% of my bets until you pulled this bullshit. Do the damn read before I lose my mind.
Right there. We got some bets out this week. Piece of crap. Ready to enjoy the college basketball, aren't we all? Pardon the plumbing. Pardon the anger. BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform, your number 1 source for online betting. In 2025, there's going to be so much action. There's going to be so much couch rot and TV and ball and dunking and assists and upsets. You want to be in on it. You don't want to be the sourpuss in the office that doesn't have a bracket, that's not plugged in, because all the fun dudes at your office are going to be talking about March Madness. They're going to be talking about the first round. So get in at BetOnline. Every 3-pointer, every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
I know I'm going to definitely be depressed and upset even before my bracket even kicks off. Hopefully we can get out of that 0-3 hole. Let's talk best fits, Sean. Actually, 0-6 hole. Let's talk best fits for Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Ashton Jeanty, and Travis Hunter. We're talking teams that would set up this guy to have tremendous success, okay? But we're being realistic here. We're not going to go Cam Ward would be great on the Kansas City Chiefs. We're not going to be dumbasses and pitch something like that.
Yeah.
I kick it to you first. What is Cam Ward's best fit in the NFL?
The Cleveland Browns is Cam Ward's best fit. They have a receiver. They have a higher pick option. And they have a tight end. Yes.
You open with, they have a receiver?
They do. They have Jerry Jeudy, a receiver, who is someone I can describe as...
The bar has never been lower for Sean Anderson in team building, apparently.
I can describe Jerry Jeudy as such, and they have a good tight end in David Njoku.
The San Antonio Brahmas have a receiver. Should he go there?
They also have one. I bet he'd thrive with the Brahmas. I'd prefer to see him with the Battlehawks, though. I think that Cleveland, a team that is also soon to get a roof, was the stupidest decision.
Is that also on the criteria roof?
Oh, yeah, because it'll be easier for Cam Ward with the roof for him to go and just air raid, sling it all over the field. I think Stefanski's a very good coach. I think he's a better coach than what the Titans have. I think he's a better coach than what the Giants have. And those are the other two teams and their actual chase for Cam Ward. So pairing him with a coach that I've seen actually be competent at times. The coach Stefanski let it all crumble right in front of his eyes. And obviously, due in part to management and leadership, but I think with Cam Ward, he could be solid. I don't think Cam Ward in Tennessee gives me anything in excitement. I don't think Cam Ward in New York, I don't think he'd be embraced particularly well after the first two interceptions that he threw, or the first time he took his fumble.
Anyone would be excited and happy if he throws a couple of crazy touchdowns. The Giants would geek out over any big play that he has, because we have watched not only Daniel Jones play like shit, but Eli Manning, the end of his career, where he threw 1 million interceptions and he slowly fell apart. So I think anybody would be more than excited here in this wonderful area of North Jersey to watch Cam Ward. But that's not my best fit. Tennessee Titans are my best fit. I love Cam Ward enough to say, I want him to be a Giant, but I love him enough to say I don't wish upon him the downfall that would happen if he was a Giant.
Yeah.
I do not wish upon him the torture that he would go through by the mismanagement of the current regime, them getting fired, and then him midway through his first contract, having a new GM and a new head coach who are all confused and puzzled and fighting over how they're going to handle this, and he's not his guy, and it would create some sort of strife and issue. And also, more importantly, their inability to build a good offensive line since their last Super Bowl run. So I don't wish that upon him. I think it's the Tennessee Titans. I think that the Titans, albeit they had a bit of a reset with Vrabel and they bring in Brian Callahan, they have been a better run organization than people want to give them credit for since they moved out of Houston. They have produced and had quality quarterback play. They've gone on runs. They've had to turn to other options like Ryan Tannehill after Marcus Mariota didn't work. Bill Polian compared him to Steve McNair, which I kind of see that. I kind of like that comparison where a big arm guy, very mobile, underrated in terms of what he can do with his legs. I think it's a good comparison. He would be their next Steve McNair. They need better receivers. Their offensive line is young and improving, and their defense has some pieces, but I think the draft capital to build and boost it up over the next couple of seasons. So I think Tennessee is his best spot within those top 3 picks, because he's not going to go further than that. Nobody's going to trade up any further.
Tennessee has shown me that they're not fully gearing up for quarterback, though. They dish Nick Westbrook Akine, who was probably their most productive receiver last year. Who's going to be toting the rock for him? Pollard again, Tajay Spears, and then who is the pass option? Treylon Burks, who has done.
Treylon Burks
he's
is
done
man.
And you're right. Tennessee has been a finely managed organization since moving from Houston, but that's been very running back contingent. It's been contingent on Eddie George, Chris Johnson, Derrick Henry, and the next great Titans running back to follow. They don't have that. They don't have any weapons on the outside, and the last couple of years has been a disaster for Tennessee. The A.J. Brown trade, I think, set it all off, where they thought they could just draft another A.J. Brown in Treylon Burks. Guess that. Guess what? You can't do that, and they haven't been able to find that replacement in the passing game, and they didn't want to re-sign Derrick Henry. It wasn't going to work out. So what
behind that offensive line, he was better off going out. That one, I don't really get why people gripe about that, where they're like, oh, it's so messed up that they didn't try to keep him and offer him a ton of money. Derrick Henry wouldn't have wanted to be there.
It was a win-win situation.
He needed to go to a team like Baltimore that had Lamar, that had a good offensive line to finish out his career.
But that was an asset that they have not replaced with, I'd say, close value of what Derrick Henry's production was compared to what they have in place now. I think the Titans are gearing up for Abdul Carter. I think it's let's have him and Simmons on the defensive line together, wreak havoc, pull a Philly. That's where I think they have to lean.
I don't think that's what they're doing,
the infrastructure for him?
But they have They have this. I think that where their decision making now comes, and you see a lot of reporting more and more this week from like Jeremy Fowler talked about it, Jordan Ronan at ESPN talked about it, that the Titans are leaning in the direction of taking Cam Ward. You very rarely have the opportunity to pick first overall and to have your choice of prospect and just to get to choose whoever you want. I doubt the Giants are willing to send a crap load of picks to move up 2 spots. And I think that they probably tried to get them to, and the Giants might have come out of it. They can see with Cam Ward, I think if they're smart enough to realize that he has immense potential. He has unbelievable potential to go on to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't disagree that they don't necessarily have currently the infrastructure, but they don't have to start him right away. They can keep Will Levis out there and trotting him out there to go stink it up.
They can't
and then
keep Will Levis. I'm sorry to
let
cut
him.
They can't keep him. Anybody else?
Let him grind himself
No,
into the ground.
no,
Let him do it. Let him do it.
Push him off the pasture and find someone
No,
else.
no.
Find somebody else. He's done. Joseph, I can't do it. I want to do another year of Levis ball, but I don't know
He's
if
a
I can
meat
watch
shield.
it.
He's a meat shield. That's what you use him for. Go let him get demolished and destroyed. And your offensive line, they have the bones of a good offensive line because they've spent early picks on offensive linemen. I think that there is a world that Tennessee ends up being next offseason could be like some of these other teams that were really like Drake May and the Patriots, where this offseason they just said, screw it, we're going to spend a ton of money because we want this thing to work right now.
Yeah.
Following offseason, they can do that. They go out there, they spend a bunch of money, they sign a free agent receiver, they draft another receiver, whatever they need to do to shore up the roster. I think it's better to have the quarterback after you've been building for a couple of years and then put on the finishing touches.
Could we flex Will Levis into a tight end quarterback position where at times we're getting his meat shieldedness as maybe even a pocket protector? I wouldn't mind to see him next to Cam Ward blocking for him.
I'm putting him as the up man on punt. That's what his role is going to be.
That's almost too much responsibility.
Up man on punt. What do you think? It's too much. I think it's perfect for him.
He needs to be in a spot where he will never touch the ball.
Yeah, he won't touch the ball.
There's a possibility.
We'll have him run down on kickoff.
There we go. Okay.
Let's have him run down on kickoff.
I take him on the headhunter team. That works for me. Okay. So now we have a plan for Levis. I like that.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
Just, geez. Let's try that one more time. I think Shedeur Sanders' best fit is with the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's not for the typical reason that one would say for why you would want to sit a quarterback. A lot of times when you say a quarterback needs to sit, it's because they need time to learn the game more. They need to develop before going out there. I think Shedeur Sanders is able to be best set up to succeed by sitting on a team that's trying to and being aggressive to bolster their roster. You get to learn from Geno Smith. You get to get that experience on that team. And then eventually in 2 years, he takes over, or in 1 year, he takes over. I think that the Raiders, with Pete Carroll and the way that Spytek has been moving in free agency, that they'd have that ability to turn this team into a winner in a couple of years. But right now, at the current moment, they're not ready to go. Outside of that, the Browns are an awful fit for the shit show that they have with their roster and with their cap situation because of Deshaun Watson. The Giants, just talked about, are a shit show. He doesn't want to go there. I think the Raiders, out of any of these top 10 teams, are the best.
I think the Brady draw to Vegas is a big point of reason why it would work. Working with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith, it wouldn't be bad for Shedeur Sanders, who's played first fiddle about his entire life and not had many challengers to it, to play second fiddle and watch how chemistry is built with the head coach, how the head coach and quarterback operate together, to see how this system in the NFL works, where he can learn, step in, and then hopefully be dynamic Shedeur Sanders. I don't mind the Vegas pick, but I think they're too far back. The best fit actually comes to the top 3. That's the New York Giants. He's built for New York. He really is.
Why, though?
He wore the New York Giants cleats. He's a massive name, massive city, media market one. He's been trained for this forever. It works. It just does. He's got a big boss top receiver in Malik Neighbors that he can count on. He's got a coach that is fighting like hell to keep his job, a GM that is completely out of his element, but is going to, I think, fight like hell to have some type of direction, save his job. We could see a full Monty push with New York. I hope we see a full Monty push with New York instead of the dead, lifeless raccoon that got creamed on the road by an Accord 2 weeks ago, and the city can't get anybody to come clean it up because the tires will just keep on crushing the raccoon into dust, and it gets returned to earth in the concrete. That's the situation the Giants are at now. We need to get them a city service member to come clean up the mess. That's Shedeur Sanders. He comes and does that.
My problem with, and you said this, and a lot of people say this, that he's built for New York. I like Shedeur Sanders as a Giants fan. I don't want him because I don't think any of us Neanderthals have the patience to put up with what he is. Which, when he starts playing poorly, him being on podcasts and him being out there and being vocal, him being on a million advertisements, it's going to just piss everybody off. He's not meant for this. I don't think he's meant for New York.
I think he is.
I think he's meant for a West Coast market where
a friendlier market.
For me, he feels like Vegas is the much better market that would be a lot more welcoming of him. Somebody that would be more patient with him. I don't think the Giants fans would be patient with Shedeur Sanders. I absolutely do not. And I don't think Shedeur Sanders, with how inconsistent that offense is, how inconsistent the offensive line is, and how there's only one good receiver, I don't think that he'd have a great first year in New York. I think that the whole first year, everybody would be pissed off. It would be like a Bryce Young type first year where everybody would be super frustrated and annoyed, saying, great, we screwed up again. We wasted another pick on a quarterback. We're not going to get this. And then eventually in year 2, he would start to do better. But it's going to screw with his head. I don't think so. I don't want that.
The city would fall in love with him. You would fall in love with him.
Look at a good example here. Colorado, he had his own following of people that followed him from Jackson State to Colorado and all that. But he had so much love and support that the minute any instance where he was criticized, Colorado fans attacked people. I mean, it happened.
You think they're going to stop at Colorado?
You don't understand what I'm getting at here. The Colorado Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders fans are not big enough and aggressive enough to deal with New York fans. They are not. Don't roll your eyes at me. You've been living here long enough. You've listened to WFAN.
Yes.
I'm telling you right now, I don't think it's a completely different world.
He might wake you guys back up again. I haven't seen much passion or energy.
I want him.
I haven't seen the cruel New York media market. It's kind of just been everybody floating around like, oh yeah, we suck. Oh well, at least not the Jets.
Because there hasn't been anything to yell about. So the minute that
you got a guy.
No, but you got a guy
that's going to make you cheer.
The minute that he steps in and starts not performing, I'm not saying I'm going to do this. I'm saying New York Giants fans are going to do this. They're going to start calling in. They're going to start complaining about Deion Sanders. And even though he's not even involved in the situation, they're going to bitch about everything. I want him. I am praying because of the shit show that we're in, because we played a game against the Colts that we didn't need to put any effort in, that we're in this spot, that we're sitting at 3, that we could have been picking at 1, all that crap. I'm praying that the Browns pass and don't take a quarterback, but it seems extremely unlikely. I'd love for him to be a New York Giant, but I'm praying for him and his career that he doesn't go somewhere where he already has the biggest spotlight on him, that he'd have an even bigger one. Look at how the media reacted to a rumor about him being arrogant in a meeting that was total BS. Everyone freaked out because no one had anything to talk about him during the combine.
It wasn't just the New York media that did that. That was a story everywhere.
That wasn't the New York media. That was the national media. That's my point, is that the national media turns anything that he does into a headline. Now couple that with him being in New York.
I haven't seen him flinch yet, pal.
I'm not saying he's going to flinch. I'm just saying it's not a good environment for a young man.
I think if there's any young man in this draft class that could actually thrive and be comfortable in the environment, it's him. I think he's had enough camera flashes in his face.
But we're talking about best situation for him to succeed. This is quite literally the worst situation because it's a team that has done – you're getting drafted by a front office that is desperate, that is on their last legs and has not produced any success except for a lucky first year that was actually basically the result of David Gettleman, of all people, that produced that success because all of his moves were the ones that were playing at their highest level.
Getty the GOAT.
No, he's not. My whole point with all of this is that you are getting placed on a franchise that has not succeeded. Why would he want to go there? No quarterback should want to be a New York Giant.
Typically, yes, I would agree. It's a disaster franchise, but he's not built for Cleveland. He's not built for Tennessee. I don't want my young quarterback in Vegas personally, and that is a shot at Vegas, directly the city. I don't think it's going to be a very welcoming, distraction-free environment that a young athlete with millions and millions of dollars would be so strong to never give into any temptation of the fun. So I don't want him going to Vegas. I want him to go into New York.
There's a lot
Feel
less
the
going
pressure.
on in Vegas.
Sit in the pressure
realize.
cooker. Sit in it. Grow with the city. Become a fan favorite. That's what he will do. He will triple the jersey sales in New York and be beloved. I think it is an absolute. Is it a dice roll? Yes, but we're betting on a 7. It's not. We're not betting on snake eyes. We're betting on a 7 here that it'll work.
Have you been to Vegas?
No, I haven't been to Vegas.
Vegas is a lot less of it. There's only like 5 things to do in Vegas. Actually, there's one thing to do. There's 2 things to do in Vegas. Go golfing and stay in a casino. Those are the only 2 things that you can do in Vegas.
What about drinking?
There is a lot more distractions happening in New York City than there are in Vegas.
There's more prostitution in Las Vegas.
I don't think Shedeur Sanders needs prostitutes.
Neither do I. What, you think I think that he needs them?
No. I thought you were saying
No. Neither do I think that Shedeur Sanders needs them.
You specifically probably need one.
Give me a break. The Shedeur Sanders in Vegas, it doesn't make it. It's not New York. New York is ready to go. They're reared up. Why else would you draft Malik Neighbors? Why else would you do it?
But that's
They're a shit show.
But that's all.
Get a quarterback for the guy.
They drafted Malik Neighbors because they thought that was going to help dipshit Daniel Jones.
No, they didn't.
The fact that this was so overbaked that they didn't get rid of Daniel Jones sooner, I think increases the degree of impatience. Look, I want him to be a Giant. I am just fearful that Giants fans are not going to be receptive and welcoming as they should be. Ashton Jeanty is going to be a superstar in the NFL. He is going to be freaking awesome. I am praying that he doesn't go to a team that isn't ready to win right now. My best fit for Ashton Jeanty, Sean, is the Chicago Bears. If you ask me pre-free agency, I'd tell you you're crazy. But now that what they've done, where they've built up their offensive line, they have one of the best young quarterbacks in Caleb Williams, who still needs to play to his potential, and they've got a really good receiving room. Putting Ashton Jeanty on this team with this interior O-line group is going to be a home run threat every single time he touches the football. That offense would go from being a frustrating one to one of the most electric in the NFL. I'm all in on this. Ryan and I put him in our mock draft on Monday night. I couldn't be more excited about this possibility.
I think it would work. I think it helps Caleb. It's a good pick. Chicago, we've seen running backs come in and have decent success. We've seen them come in and it's like, all right, it's a fine start of my career. And then the next spot, David Montgomery being a fantastic example that comes to my mind. Yeah, I had some time in Chicago and then I blossomed elsewhere. And Chicago now I'm expecting to be different than when David Montgomery was there. I do think it also helps with Caleb Williams getting some of the pressure off of his back. Not that maybe I don't need to be as mobile. Maybe I don't need to run for this first down, and Ashton can get it. I can be comfortable with him being in Chicago. I'm not that terrified of the Lions' defensive prowess, nor am I terrified of the Packers' defensive prowess. It'll be a chainsaw match going up against the Vikings, but it would work. That is not what I'm going to disagree with one bit. It helps. It's a makes sense move in my mind. You're not going to get an argument out of me there. My best fit is Dallas, and that's because the interior and left side of their offensive line, I just picture 1,800 yards. I just see it in my mind, him running behind Tyler Guyton, him running behind Tyler Smith, and Cooper Beebe manhandling some one tech into submission while Jeanty makes a read, busts it out for 80, and it's a touchdown Dallas Cowboys. They're a team that needs a good running back. They've always had iconic running backs. They've always had iconic receivers and an iconic quarterback. It's one of those teams that just has triplets. The Pittsburgh is like that. Atlanta was like that in the 2010s. There are teams that have these triplet machines. When they are really rolling, that is when they're at their best. Dallas needs that terribly. Last one they had was Zeke, and that was 9 years ago when he was at the peak of being an actual triplet. I'm passing on the Pollard years in Dallas. I know he was a fan favorite, but he wasn't a true triplet. This is complete the prophecy, triplet 4.0 in Dallas, and you're a competitor. You're a legit competitor right immediately.
As much as I love the thought of him being on the Dallas Cowboys, I don't trust Jerry Jones to make this pick if he's still on the board.
Bingo.
He's probably going to take Walter Nolan, which would be such a dumbass move by them to take him that early. But Jeanty with the Cowboys does feel not only perfect for what they need, for what would help him succeed, but also just knowing the history of that franchise. Having one of the best running backs in the NFL has been a driving force for the Cowboys' success for the entirety of their existence. They have needed a seat filler at running back. They need a guy that can take the ball to the house every single time that he touches it. And the Cowboys' offensive line is better than anyone wants to give him credit for. You mentioned Cooper Beebe. I love Cooper Beebe. He's supposed to be playing center this upcoming year. Don't know if I love him at center. Maybe he bumps to guard and takes over the Zach Martin
I love
position.
him at center.
He's kind of. I don't like stiff centers. He's kind of got like a little bit of a stiff back. So I don't love that.
He'll even out in Dallas.
We'll
I see him being a fine center for years to come.
Well, but still, he's just a mean ass offensive lineman. Guyton and Tyler Smith are quality offensive linemen as well. He doesn't need to do everything because the passing game will be good, and then inversely, the passing game doesn't need to do everything because Jeanty can make those big plays. If there is a prospect that gets drafted by a team that turns them into a top 5 team in the NFL, I'm going to be this hyperbolic. It is Ashton Jeanty going to the Dallas Cowboys because their inability to not only run the ball last year, but to do it in any exciting way, I think has killed them over the last couple of years. They need juice, and the king of the juice is Ashton Jeanty. 2 brief points before we move on. The seat feeler, that's your move on the subway. I like seeing when someone stands up and you start, feeling it. And secondly, this isn't supposed to be a slide on Dak, but it is going to come off as a slide on Dak. He needs a running back there. He can't lead the whole show on his own. I love my $45 million a year quarterback to be able to do so, but now we're just throwing that contract out for dudes that need a bunch of help. And Dak Prescott is one of those guys. Is he great when he has that help? Yes. Will he be better if he has help in the backfield? Certainly. Ashton Jeanty should not be looked at as 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns. He should be looked at either our entire offensive game plan, or he's going to immediately free up our quarterbacks, and we're going to use him in the pass game and in very exciting ways. But if we're going to use him in a boring fashion, can't do it. Dallas needs to lean into it. Well, the thing is, we don't know what Brian Schloppenheimer is going to be doing there with the play calling.
Schlopping it up is what he's going to be doing. He's going to be sitting there. Oh, you 3rd and 8. Let's get some schlop on the field. We'll get it going.
Man, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with Schottenheimer, because that's the biggest driving force of all this. And I'm just trying to think to myself does Jerry actually have the brain cells left to do this? Is he?
No.
If he really had some balls, he'd trade up and take him. If he had some nuts, he wouldn't let the Raiders take him. He wouldn't let the Bears take him. He would trade up and go get him.
I don't think he has the brains to do it, but I think he has the old people slots machine vibe when it comes to this thing, where he's sitting in front of it and he's seeing all the bar, the lemon, the cherries, and then that big 7. That's Ashton Jeanty right there.
He's always been a sucker. He's always been a sucker for running backs, but he's done it right. He's done it right.
Yes,
to his
get
credit.
suckered. I want him to get suckered, sit down, let the little drool spill, get your quarter, pump it, and then let's go Ashton time.
I'm praying for the trade up. I would be, if I am a Cowboys fan, I would be extremely upset and disappointed if Ashton Jeanty was going and producing somewhere else, knowing he could have been. See, they're
going to be so annoying though if they do get him.
I'm kind of fine with it. I want Jeanty to succeed. I don't want him to go somewhere and just to die off and disappear because he goes to the Raiders are an awful fit for him. I hate the Raiders taking him.
So do I. That's all.
Because their offensive line's not good.
You know what? I know
Ryan keeps debating that, but their offensive line's not good.
I'm actually going to start a brand new beef with Dallas, and for them being so suck-ass lately, I think it's actually contributing to a lot of the problems with football, is when Dallas is good, they're the best heel in the
more
sport.
Importantly, when their run game is good, they're the best heel in sports.
They're a phenomenal heel. Everyone hates their fans. We love to hate them. They haven't felt like America's team recently. So sports fans, football fans especially, they have this little thing in their brain like wrestling fans where they crave the blood, they crave the anger, they crave it all. But there hasn't been a good Dallas Cowboys team to push that anger towards. I think we've pushed a lot of it towards Kelsey and Swift. The promo stuff,
Good.
I think, would bother me a lot less if I could be angry at a good Cowboys team.
Right. You're kind of manufacturing hate towards people. Like
And it
the
felt real
Chiefs
to me.
And like,
but-
I hate the Eagles naturally, but the Cowboys hate when they're doing well.
Yeah.
Is like a different kind of, because you'll hate watch the Cowboys.
It'll be on every single Sunday. A Cowboys game I'm watching. I want to see them lose.
Mhm.
And the last couple of years have been like, oh, that's not satisfying. Oh, Dak
No,
had a
because you're watching
hamstring
them.
injury,
You're watching
like,
Cooper Rush just dick around. By the way, could you not? You know how you know where Cooper Rush signed, right? He signed with the Ravens.
Mhm.
You know how they say that it's best to sign a quarterback who's exactly like your starting quarterback,
Yeah.
so that if things go wrong, that the offense just keeps flowing. That you can maybe take a step backward, but you can do some similar things. I couldn't think of a better comparison. Lamar Jackson and Cooper Rush. Could we have come up with a better 1-to-1? Like, oh my God. Lamar Jackson, who would be the perfect backup that is in a dynamic athlete, but maybe not as consistent as a runner as Lamar or as a passer as Lamar is, just is a good enough of an athlete that we can run the read option stuff. It's Cooper Rush.
They had another Lamar on the team in Tyler Huntley, and they let him go to Miami. I guess
They should
Miami
take
signed
Riley
him.
Leonard. Riley Leonard is exactly like
Is
Lamar.
Riley Leonard the white Lamar Jackson?
He might be
I don't think so. I watched a lot of Riley
the white
Leonard.
backup version of Lamar.
You know what?
Jackson.
There we go. Now we're circling.
Ryan's
it
trying to say that Cooper Rush has wheels. That's some BS.
What?
All right. Travis Hunter, who is going to be a star in his own right. What is the perfect team for him? I think it's the New York Jets. I don't think that he's going to fall that far and that he's going to be on the board at 7. I like the idea of New England, and we'll talk about this. But him going to a defensive mind like Aaron Glenn that is going to be creative and is going to be deliberate in figuring out how to produce success with him. I think that Travis Hunter would be awesome there. More importantly, getting to be in the New York market also would be incredibly enticing for him. He is somebody who, this is different. Don't start panning your head away. This isn't Shedeur Sanders. He's not a quarterback. He's also going to succeed a lot earlier and a lot more immediately. So he gets to be broadcasted everywhere. This guy is a personality superstar. I think that he would turn into already a well-known player in football circles to a phenomenon across the country.
How
This isn't the same argument as the Shedeur Sanders thing.
it is.
It's not.
He's worse.
They're not the
He's
same.
worse in the New York media market because he's coming in with baggage already.
He doesn't have baggage just because everybody was speculating what his girlfriend was doing.
Oh,
before
well,
they
he
were
doesn't
dating.
have baggage, but you already filled in the
He'll be
baggage before I had an
He'll-
opportunity to
he'll be
explain what it
single-
was.
He'll be single quickly in New
What if
York
he's
once he
not?
realizes
What
the
if he's
options that he
not?
has.
What if he's not, Joe?
He will be.
That's
and then
gonna be
he's
a
going to
story
succeed
here.
even more.
This is a gossip place. People love the
Any
juicy
pub
New York.
is good pub.
I don't. Am I on crazy? Did
No!
I take crazy pills this morning?
He's not Shedeur Sanders. He's not a quarterback.
Exactly. He's been criticized more already.
No, he hasn't been
for
criticized.
more personal stuff.
But that's not bad. Those aren't football related things.
He had
Jets
to-
fans are going to rally around him. Jets fans will rally around players that do great things for them. They will protect the shit out of him, just like Colorado fans have protected him in Shedeur.
That may be true, Joe, but coming into New York with a relationship issue, even if it's not an issue in his eyes, her eyes, or anybody in the relationship's eyes, that is bringing
Bad take.
that is not a bad take.
He'll be fine.
You're walking around with a candle in your hand wide open in the summer. You're pretty sure it's not going to light in the flames. But what if it gets hot enough?
It's not
What
gonna-
if the sun hits it right?
No.
You're never certain. You're walking in with this.
This isn't real baggage. It was purely speculation created by fans because he was constantly in the spotlight. But outside of this BS, he still was highly appreciated by everybody around the sport.
He won the
was-
Heisman. Hell yeah, I was happy for him.
Nobody was hating on him. They were merely, actually, if anything, it was an effort by many that love and support him, fans that are looking out for him. We talked about this on this show. It
The
was a
same
major red
fans
flag the
were
way that she was
trolling.
acting.
They were talking about it on First Take. They talked
They were
about it
looking
on
out for him.
First Take.
Unc was looking out for him.
Unc said you should if they're already talking about your relationship, while you're in college, how do you think that evolves once you get to the NFL in media market one? You're not being a protected athlete anymore because there still is protection on college athletes. No matter what this show, it doesn't feel like it as much. But in the national mediascape, there is more protection on the college athletes. You go pro, get full pro criticism. And if that means your girl's being a distraction at the game, and this isn't just Travis Hunter. Look at Patrick Mahomes' wife. She gets crucified.
Well, he's in a small media market. Kansas City's not a big media market.
What if it gets bigger? And that's national, her scope of criticism that's come to her.
This is naturally going to happen in any athlete's personal life that becomes a widely recognized and known just professional athlete. LeBron. People talk about him and his kid all the time. The stuff that happened with him and
Mark Jackson would knock Savannah out the park. We know that.
I mean, shit, Savannah's not even a public figure and he's making comments like that.
I got you.
Okay. I think that maybe even in this market, you'd have a lot of more bluntness from Jets fans that would help him realize that he needs to break up with his girl.
Oh, athletes listen to the fans a lot, right? On how to be an athlete and operate with their millions.
Yeah.
When you got freaking Sideshow Bob pulling up in a hoopty, give me a break. He would do better. He would fare better in New England, a football city with a actual.
I don't agree. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't agree with that. I don't think this market would be as friendly to him.
Oh, yes, it would. New England would be very friendly. They love the Patriots. He would thrive with Vrabel. I hope Vrabel plays him on both sides. If not, corner, punt returner, however you want to use him. He can't just be one side of the field. New England is looking to get Drake May help. They're looking to fix the defense, pair him opposite of Christian Gonzalez. Look at that pairing. Put him with Drake May for 15 snaps a game on the offense. Bet he gets you 60 yards and a touchdown. That works for me. And then the Patriots are rolling. 2 positions fixed immediately at a very high level expectedly for me. In the first year, on the outsides, he's commanding half of the field for the full game until he doesn't have the wheels anymore. Put him in New England, that solves a lot of their issues immediately. And Vrabel is a pro's pro. I think he's a mature coach. I think he can handle it. I think he would protect Travis Hunter. I think Aaron Glenn's got to defend and protect himself some in New York as well, because the bloodlust for that head coaching position, we saw the carnage this past season. So it can't all be focused on Travis if AG goes down to 1-4 in the first month and a week, then he's got to look out for his own ass.
Here's my thing, though. I think that this is a good team fit. Mike Vrabel needs a guy that the defense and the team can rally around, who's a high-character young man, who's hardworking, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All that. I think that just generally for like what New England has done for athletes' careers, I think that works as well. I pushed back, though, when we were getting in this debate of a market that works for him, though. I think that having listened to enough dumbass Boston radio,
yeah,
it's worse than New York sports radio. Like the callers are so inept. And I've pitched Travis Hunter to the Patriots, to Patriots fans. They don't want him. That's the crazy part. Giants fans, Jets fans, Raiders fans, Jaguars fans, Titans fans would be so happy to have him. They're the only fan base that has been like, oh, he doesn't tackle. Oh, what is he going to do? He's not going to play. He's going to get hurt.
Tuck him away in New England. Make the city grow on him. Don't set him up.
Why is that a good situation?
Don't set him up with a gift basket of expectations on day one and say, if you're not the hero we think you are, we're going to turn on you like they would in New York. Let him come in with a little bit of a cold shoulder in New England and say, come on, buddy, prove it. Mm-hmm. We hope you do well, but we're not going to get all in until we see you actually celebrating a big touchdown. And I think that's exactly when it flips the switch. And I think if you text any of those boobs, honestly, on the side that we're in that group chat with from Rhode Island and that are all Pats fans, they would be fired up.
Let's ask these idiots.
Okay, cool.
Where is that chat? Do you guys want Travis Hunter ?
Who else would they rather have? There shouldn't be anyone else in that position at that draft position.
Abdul Carter.
The injury stuff's freaking me out. with Abdul Carter, the leg stuff.
It's a
I'm
foot.
not-
It's a foot. He's going to be fine. He's going to be completely fine.
I believe you, but
All right.
it freaks me out a little bit. I think you should have the right to feel a little freaked.
There is a new veteran quarterback in the mix for the New York Giants. Jameis Winston is the latest guy to come in for an interview. Now, you've gave me shit about this before. I've warmed up to it. Out of all of the awful options on the table for the New York Giants, Jameis Winston is the best option. All I can envision is him throwing 30 interceptions and 25 touchdowns, at least trying, at least doing something. Not Russell Wilson, who looked timid as hell because he's not the same player that he once was, or Aaron Rodgers being decrepit and immobile, and Joe Flacco just being alive.
Yeah.
All of those things. I need to have a heart attack every single time the game kicks off, every single time that he drops back. I want to believe something. They're going to lose every single game if Jameis Winston's their starting quarterback. That's what we're trying to get towards. I want Abdul Carter or I want Travis Hunter. I want somebody. I want a star, anyone to be the pick if they don't get a quarterback. I'm in on signing Jameis. I've thought about it. He is our Kurt Warner.
This is where we get the late career Kurt Warner theatrics here.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Fire me up.
And he goes on to go to a Super Bowl with the Cardinals.
I got lambasted for pitching Jameis. Was it this week?
Well, it was just the concept is kind of gross. So that was where my reaction came from.
Is the best option available. I love me some Jameis Winston. You know why? He makes you feel about football. He makes you feel something when he's dropping back. He kind of reminds you of
Fear, mostly fear.
Kind of reminds you of your uncle that set out a big arm. Like, oh, if I was the NFL behind these modern offensive lines, I'd throw for 4 touchdowns a game too. Well, Jameis kind of looks like that sometimes in the pocket. He'll wow you with the arm strength. He'll wow you with the decision making, good and bad. I'm in favor of it, and I think Jameis has grown up a lot. Like, people are so stupid.
Well, he's grown up, but he's still the same goofball.
Yeah,
it's funny. He's more mature, but he's still an idiot on the field.
People conflate having a little bit of charisma or personality or not constantly like apologizing with hands clasped, praying to the rosary for college mistakes and just addressing them with I don't know, maturity and saying, yeah, it was stupid, or yeah, I'm kind of trying to move past it, just become my own guy. Like, people get really in weird spots with Jameis Winston. In the NFL, he's proven to me that he's a respectful person and player, someone that can play quarterback and has got put on absolutely dog shit team after dog shit team with no help available and has done just fine. The Tampa years, he was just on the team priming up for Tom Brady, gets shipped off to New Orleans on their downfall, gets no help there, then gets shipped to Cleveland, a death sentence, Siberia for quarterbacks. Go ahead. You can send him to another Siberia, like in New York. You can do that. Then you're going to get the same Jameis Winston as we're going to get. The second we see Jameis Winston with a contender is the second we see Jameis Winston in the playoffs. And that's a Sean Anderson guarantee. I'm not saying he makes the Giants a contender,
though, so that's not even going to happen.
You should expect Jameis to retain his path. As good as he can be, as bad as he can be, that's what he will be.
He'll retire a journeyman. That's probably the more likely thing.
Yeah.
All right, time for Down Bad Dudes, as we do every single Tuesday, where we share a story either from a listener or something we found on Twitter or our personal lives of a guy who's down bad. I don't know if this fully fits the typical description of Down Bad Dudes, but I sent this to Sean, and Sean apparently was stewing over this.
I reposted
at
this,
work.
I think.
Did you?
Yeah.
Maybe that was why I saw it. So this guy, Doug Wanoy, who actually lives in Jersey City, it says on his Twitter, he posted in this pickleball community called The Kitchen. And he posted on Facebook and he said, sign up in a DUPR league with wife, regretting it. I like how he just said with wife. I was getting crushed in the league with her. She's been out a few months due to her pregnancy, but she is now back and wants to start playing again. My new partner is a lot better and doesn't let her emotions get the best of her in tight games. Plus, she has more time to drill with me while my wife is too busy most of the time with the baby. Do I, 1, put my foot down and play with the new partner, 2, quit the DUPR league? And then some guy named Harris said, just spend more time with your baby, you selfish bastard. Why were you so incensed? I didn't bother to ask what your stance was on this because I didn't want to know.
Pickleball people.
That's what this is.
They're horny 30s that think they have rockin' bods and they have dad bods, and they think that they're playing tennis at Wimbledon and they're playing pickleball with that sounds like tinks. It tink, 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 and they think it's the most intense sport ever. It's a cornball sport. It's very easy, and the accessibility of picking it up is a great way to stay active in your 40s, 50s. Like it's a fine sport, or it's a fine game. It's not a sport.
It's not a sport. Don't call it a sport.
Yes, it is a fine game.
Anyone who thinks they're an athlete because they do pickleball has lost their marbles and their wannabes.
It's a recreational activity where it's basically the outside of work-wife situation where these dudes go to the pickleball court and they start playing with everybody. Oh, you want to pair up? Oh, no, I wasn't looking at your ass. No, I just thought you'd be good at pickleball. And it goes like this every time. Many times.
Oh,
many times.
Have you played?
Many times.
Who have you gone to pickleball with?
In Arlington. There was a pickleball court a block away from my house.
Well, we were supposed to have pickleball courts, but the Joe Biden Park Foundation tore it down and is building one of the ugliest monstrosities across from our apartment complex.
At least they took the windscreens down so we could see the loose gravel. You know what? I actually like seeing the work equipment. I will stop and watch the construction people if they're doing it. Like there was a main water break
a toddler
on the other side, and these guys were down there with like a jackhammer and a massive vacuum.
Maybe that's
hose.
what that sound was at the beginning of the show.
Oh, I was like, I remember I stood there and watched him for like 5 minutes. Like, you know what? I wouldn't like this if I was on the crew, but I was just fascinated. I think it's fascinating. This back to pickleball.
Wait, built to be working in construction, yet you tinker away.
I know.
As a producer,
the click clack of the computer keys kills me.
You were built to be carrying bags of asphalt.
That's what I'm best at.
Whatever.
The highest praise I've ever gotten in my life was helping people move out of their house or throwing old junk out of their house, where I could literally lift couches and throw them into a moving van that would get sent off to the dump. And I got a standing ovation from a family for doing it. That's my calling, lugging big things.
We need to send you off to do more large people things. Okay, sorry. Continue what you're saying.
This guy, whether he's trolling or not, this is a real person. Even if it's not the real person that posted this, this guy exists. Where he is not playing with his wife because he cares so much about pickleball and his pickleball partner that's better than his wife, completely demeaning the point of a recreational activity.
Okay.
Spend time with those that you enjoy.
I actually don't. I'm surprised. I don't think he's in the wrong. Okay, so you just had a kid. You're probably losing your mind. The wife's not going to be able to really leave to go out and do anything. And I'm sure that she probably does have her own outlet to go out and
I think she
leave. And he probably sees. I'm just speculating here. If I was in the situation, I'm sure that she has her own outlet. She probably doesn't want to play pickleball while he's still just playing on his own. Okay. I don't think it's wrong to want to have a good pickleball partner, and he started playing with somebody and you're on a good streak and your wife was okay with it. He didn't imply that he was attracted to this woman. She could be 6'8" and 300 pounds and be like an unbelievable athlete. Could be like a former college basketball player. We don't know what the attraction here is in the situation. I don't understand what's wrong about wanting to be successful at playing pickleball.
There's never been any stories ever put out about women being felt like they're cooped up at post-pregnancy or that their emotions fluctuate.
Wait, that's not what I said. This woman just wants to play
pickleball with her husband, and he's over here frolicking, tinking
around.
Was that
part of the? Wait, I'm actually completely missing that. Continue what you were saying.
Yeah, my wife she's been out a few months due to her pregnancy, but she is now back and wants to start playing again. The wife wants to start playing pickleball again. He wants to keep playing with the better, likely more athletic, not previously pregnant partner that he has been playing with. Scumbag move. This guy's a fucking scumbag. He's a piece of garbage. I hate the pickleball guys like this.
DUPR? Is that like a professional league?
It's. I was trying to sort that out. It's probably doubles unisex pickleball rec league, like recreational. Like that's where I can. I'll just look it up. I don't know.
I mean, I think that the mistake in general is getting into this. If you're competitive and your wife's not very athletic or good, means that she's probably not as competitive as you are. That was your mistake of getting into it in the first place. What is it?
DUPR, the world's most accurate pickleball rating. It's like the handicapping site for pickleball, where you're like,
so it's like how
putting in-
tennis has their ratings thing. So he's actually trying to be competitive. I don't think this is wrong. Then
This guy sucks.
you suck.
It's pickleball.
Some people take it seriously. I bet I'd be good at pickleball.
with glasses.
What is that? It's a soft ball.
It's a
in
wiffle
in a
ball.
small.
Take a wiffle ball in the
it's a
cock, you're going to
small-
feel a type of way. It hurts.
What does that have to do with my eyes?
Well, you're not going to be able. It's flying around pretty fast. If you get closer than that, if you're in the kitchen, you're going to be sitting there cross-eyed,
Okay.
get hit in the glasses. Glasses break. You're in a problem.
Okay, I think that you're devaluing my athleticism here. The glasses have nothing to do with it.
Have you played tennis before?
Yeah, I'm okay at tennis.
Okay.
I don't think you don't need to
You'll
be good
okay
at tennis.
You'll
You
be
don't need to
okay.
be good at tennis to be good at pickleball.
You'd be fine at pickleball. I just worry about
Screw you. Worry about me. People,
I'm taking hard
old
pickleball
people
shots.
play pickleball. Old people play pickleball.
And they get hit
the
all
most
the time.
unathletic idiots play pickleball and think that they're professional athletes, like this dumbass.
You know what the best pickleball strategy is? The best that I've found, when you're hitting it back, hit it at the person's body. Try to hit it at them, because that's a point for you. You know how many points got scored on me because of how big I am? Plenty. And I would just
that's my point. You're probably shit at pickleball because you take up too much space.
I know.
and
I
you
got
can't
plenty.
move.
I got plenty of range.
I watched
and I
the
can
kick
get
set.
up top.
I watched the mirror.
What, in practice or recently?
Well, you're probably slower recently.
That's true. I feel more comfortable in my body though, moving. I was still growing into my body in college.
Yeah,
It
but
was
you're
a nightmare.
heavier now
Yeah, I still
and
feel
less mobile.
What? How'd that go last time you tried to push me outside the elevators? Who went? Did
It
I
didn't
did I
go.
move?
Yeah, but
Did I
that
move at all?
that's not pickleball skill.
I had a plant foot down, and I could have pushed off of you. It was like a breeze.
Yeah, but we're talking.
I'm
We need to
fine.
be able to redirect. You need to be able to move.
I think the quick twitch in my hands is far better than your quick twitch in your hands. Legs and other range of motion side to side. It's also a tiny court. It's not a full tennis court.
Yeah, that makes
It's
it even
probably-
harder.
it's
You're probably bumping into your partner.
No. One up, one back, and then you're both up, and you can cover the span of the court with 2 arms length.
Not buying this.
That's fine.
All right,
That's fine.
let's get to the hack bag. Do we have any?
Yeah, we got some hack bag.
201-834-4308. Call in with your hack bag questions. Hack bag questions. We had 2 great ones, 2 phone calls for the first time in a while. Do we have one today?
Yeah, we got one. All right,
we got callers now. Everybody wants to call in.
That's nice. That's how it works. Everybody.
Is it one of the same people that called last time?
Unsure, but
Okay.
let's start the segment.
Wait, is the
The
echo
mail-
cancellation off?
Yes.
The mail never stops.
This is the Hack Bag. Hit us on Twitter for questions or call at 201-834-4308.
It's a good song. I like the song.
Thank you.
All right, play it.
Oh, that's not it.
Fuck you.
Sorry.
Fuck you.
Sean, Joseph, I need to know when this Hack City official March Madness bracket is being released. I need to know because I need my picks to be in very soon. And I want to know who you're picking so that I know exactly who not to pick.
I don't like this guy. Okay, screw you. Who was that?
I don't know. The guy just wants to know when our brackets are coming in, I guess. I'll make a bracket this year for this guy.
Should we do one on Thursday, on the show on Thursday after the games have already started?
I'd love that. Here, you know what we should? I would be fine Thursday. Oh no, we have to pick it up beforehand, don't we?
What do you mean?
We couldn't do it live. We couldn't do like pick the games that have already happened and then finish the picks, the rest of the bracket throughout the show. Like if the tournament's starting at noon, we tape at 4. We pick the games from noon to 4 beforehand, so we actually have the bracket locked in.
The bit's not as good as I think. Also, why did this guy call me Joseph? It's bothering me.
Did he?
Call me Joseph.
Oh,
He called me Joseph.
you don't like that?
Is this somebody we know?
I don't know. He didn't leave his name,
Guys got to start leaving their names.
and I'm not going to track down and backtrace his number. Will not do that. You are anonymous if you want to be anonymous with this show and call in.
All right. Well, why don't after we finish, let's slap together a really shitty one. We'll come up with what the bit is.
Okay, that works for me.
All right. What do we have another one?
Oh yeah, we got a couple Twitter message questions here. Chester, is it weird to listen to WWE intro songs at the gym?
I'm not familiar enough with WWE intro songs, but isn't that the whole point, is to get hyped up?
Yeah, it's not weird, Chester. You listen to whatever music in the gym that fires you up. If that's classical, listen to classical. If it's heavy metal, fine. If you want to listen to West Coast rap at a slow pace at 80 BPM, go crazy. WWE intro songs, they're loud. They're typically heavy metal. They're high energy. Yeah, I think it actually makes sense in the gym.
No, this is a great bit. I'm pro this bit. No headphones, phone sticking out of the pocket.
Yeah,
full blast.
Act like the wrestler also.
Yeah.
Wrestling fans, if you are
No
a wrestler,
shirt.
go crazy in there. Go bonkers. Be Roman Reigns. You can do it.
Colin's upset that we didn't get to his question. We should get to his.
Does he have one in the chat?
He said, "Hey, my question made the hack." Oh, it's him who called. Or somebody who, or that didn't sound like him.
Did not sound like. Hold on.
So maybe he had somebody call.
Hold on, let me play it. Where is this? Did I just play it?
So it was somebody we know.
Sean, Joseph, I need to know when this Hack City
Oh, it is Colin.
bracket is being released.
It's Colin. That's Colin. That's Colin. That's Colin. He sounds a little deeper voice than you like usual.
Nasally.
No, that's Colin. That's absolutely that was Colin. Colin sounded different there. No, maybe that way. We haven't heard enough from Colin. Colin, thank you for calling in. Appreciate
Colin, do you want to hear Joe?
I'm gonna fucking kill you. I am going to fucking
Hey.
I'm 0-6 since then. It's the worst omen on this planet. I will throw this light at you.
I love the sound.
It's the worst omen. I can't get out. I'm in my own head now. It has nothing to do with if it was real or not. I'm in my own head.
Get out of it. Do your research.
I do the research.
Are we lockstep tonight at least? I tweeted you my picks. I didn't consult your picks beforehand.
If Alabama State doesn't win by 100. Did you actually not see my picks?
I chose God, where am I stupid?
Forget the bit for a second. Did you see the picks that I put out?
Let me see. No, I did not see the picks that you put out. I didn't.
It's Alabama State and UNC. Those are the picks that we have today. So those were actual real picks?
Yeah. I parlayed St. Francis and San Diego State.
Oh!
4.5.
Ah!
So
you're not even doing it on purpose. That's the worst part about
this. Is this a direct fade on both?
This isn't even on you doing it on purpose. If you're doing it on purpose, you're just kind of dicking me. This is what it was misunderstood from the story I gave the other day. You didn't look at me and say Rutrow. And I know it's for a fact, so don't play this off. You didn't do it with the intention of like, this will get Joe riled up. You just spontaneously said it. Just said it. Because that was your reaction to what was happening in the game. So you're just doing all this naturally.
Yeah. I'm a natural.
I would hope that you having opposite picks of me would be a good sign because you're such a shit better. That's going to get me a little juice back.
Well, maybe you get back on the horse tonight. A nice little lay.
At Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio, at Hack City Pod, 201-834-4308. We'll talk to you later.